Hello, my name is Noah Wall. I am a student at the University of North Texas. I am currently a junior, and today I will be interviewing for the remote sports management intern position with Steel Sports. And to start off this interview, I want to go over why I am interested in y'all's company. And the main reason I'm interested in y'all's company is I'm very keen on doing event planning, as that has been a very big interest of mine throughout college, as I've learned to work with some of North Texas sports organizations and as well as some of the TV talk show stuff. So that has gotten me on the idea of going into event planning. Also, I'm very interested in working with the youth program with sports, just because I grew up as a kid playing soccer, so that's kind of how I get the idea of providing for those young kids that want to be able to play sports as a kid and also later in life, as we provide a pipeline for them to be successful. Now, going over to my next point is why I chose sports as my main career path. And the reason I chose that is honestly, it wasn't that hard. Um, I played sports growing up. I've always been a fan of football, soccer, hockey, baseball, golf, tennis, and I've always done extensive research into either one, like numerically, how players act, how they develop, how they scout, and like scouting is a big thing that I'm very interested in. So my next point that I want to is what my career plan is, as this is my first job that I'm applying for outside of college. My overall goal is to be maybe a sports analyst for a major organization or work in some type of player development for youth or some type of scouting role. And so I can now separate these. My short-term goals, working for y'all or working for a different organization, is to be able to learn and study from these high class individuals who've had the experience of working for an organization, and I get to learn like what they know, the requirements, the expectations, what comes together there to make a sports organization work, as well as the fundamentals of planning, hiring, and also what strategies work best. And then my long-term goals is to get that higher position and then be able to provide for kids, for teams, and for players, as that would be an overall goal. Now to my next point of what challenge that I've overcame as a student, was that I had a very difficult Keurig Dr. Pepper assignment where we had to make a new product. And our biggest issue was not trying to copy from other sources. Like it wasn't like we're not copying from like AI or something like that. It was just there's so many like similar products in especially the food industry or the drink industry. So we created something with creatine and peptides to like not like exactly peptides but workout materials to provide for caffeine and overall growth. And what helped me succeed in that role that correlates to this is being able to collaborate with my group mates in the project to come up with this idea, and also the research behind it, the how we can profit, and how long term that could revolutionize the Keurig Dr. Pepper. And then my final point that I want to go over is what makes me the best candidate for this role. And why I think it makes me the best candidate is I have some personal experience working with customer servicing, as I worked in two, one's a retail store and I worked at a smoothie place throughout high school. And then I have one, professional job working for North Texas Sports. I worked at a TV station that was completely student ran, and award winning, as I was the floor director and I was also the cameraman, and I also provided for multiple shows. I would go out of my way for shows that I did not work in, and I would help them set up. I would go to the stadium, I'll go to the building, I'll go to many other places just to provide any way possible, as it would provide me a connection throughout all of my colleagues, and also let me get hands-on experience of what I could be working for later on. And I think that shows how I can work successfully and how I can provide for any job moving forward. And that kind of like goes back to being able to provide for, like, for example, in the school role and my assignment, why it was so challenging, how I succeeded, was I was able to collaborate. I feel like I have very good collaborative skills, and I think that would be a very good skill to have later on, as the sports industry is very collaborative based and very research based, as we look at statistics and we look at who works best with who. And I think that's the main points of what makes me a good candidate for the Steel Sports internship spot. And thank you for your time. Goodbye.